Hello everybody, I'm an idiot. I'm recording again. 4 episodes in one day. What am I doing? I'm going crazy. Hello everybody, seriously though. Welcome to another episode of Azurik, Rise of Perathia. Today we're in the Stormy water realm. The main reason, okay, first is because I'm having a lot of fun, but second, I'm editing these videos and like I'm hearing myself just say over and over and over again, oh, we have to come back later, we have to come back later, we have to come back later. Well, for those that might be getting wary of that, this zone, the Stormy zone, pretty much with the exception of one tiny thing which isn't really related, this entire zone is like completely like 100%able. I can get everything here right now, and it's like, you know, the first vaguely linear bit. So if you're crying for linearity right now and like the idea of going to a zone and just finishing it, then this is your episode. This is exactly what the Stormy water realm's like. Having said that, also at the same time, to stop me fanboying about it so much, it's actually kind of an annoying zone too, because it's got a lot of mechanics to do with the day-night cycle, but it doesn't do it very smartly, which means you spend 99% of your time in this zone waiting around, which means this is either I'm going to be like insanely entertaining, or this is going to have a fair bit of editing, which is way more likely. Anyway, our point of entry to this zone usually would be through that gate that I'm looking at right now. But we instead found the secret tube, which is what we did last episode, and that's actually given us access to this huge tower that we otherwise wouldn't be able to get on top of, which gave us a switch which turned this huge crane, launched us even higher, and now this switch will lower it into the water. And what's the point of all of this? All those pipes, all the animation, the entry, all of it, it's simply for an obsidian. You know, some obsidians, they just put a lot of effort into how you get them. And I've always wanted to walk along that, but you slide off, which kind of sucks. But yeah, that's what this whole thing was for, guys. Just this obsidian inside this. But hey, I'll take it. I like the idea of, you know, certain collectibles like this being really difficult to get. Also, I skipped over one thing for fear of time last episode, which I'm now going to rectify. We're going to swim back into the regular water realm. And only because I sort of want to start the episode off with this, just because it's slightly more efficient. Well, I don't know, maybe it's not. Anyway, there was this dock that we were walking near. There's the statue and the like rock slide and the cave and stuff back there. But there's also this red overlord, if you remember. Now, there's two things of note. First, the red overlord. But second, can you see that key over there? The key's actually got like a force field around it. This is like a mechanic in the game where there'll be a certain enemy that you have to kill so that you can claim something, usually a key. And this is our first experience of that. There's a red overlord guarding this key, so we're going to go and fight him. I'm not sure what overlords are weak to or whether we even have that element available to us. Right now we can only attack with steam or water. Wow, this is really diverting me a long way just to get onto that dock. I should have gone through the water. That's ridiculous. So I don't know, but I'll try steam, I guess. It seems like the more advanced of the two combinations. You can learn quite clearly every single enemy in the game and what they're weak to. But I think that's a part of the fun of it, just sort of experimenting as you kill them. Because the combat system, can get clunky, honestly. Like, after a while, oh my god. So very clunky. Okay, I'm not here to complain too much. So we'll just grab these two sapphires, because that's the whole reason I did this whole section. And here's the red overlord. So, hello there, buddy. He doesn't really do much more. See, this is one of the problems with the wow. Okay, the AI can be really good on some enemies. Some enemies are really quick and they move in really weird ways. That means you just can't like stun lock them like this. But this guy was pretty easy. Anyway, by killing him, two things are going to happen. One, is going to allow us to claim the key, which we're going to do. But second, his friends in an underwater base are going to get very, very angry. And from this base, I love how he stood on his shoulders as well. That's so cool. Like, they never use that animation anywhere else, and yet this one place, that's what they decide they're going to do. So cool. So it actually raises a periscope, and we get to see through their scope what they're doing. And of course, that's the dock we're currently stood on. They're looking directly at us. As it zooms in, we should just about be able to make ourselves out. There we are. Hello! And yeah, they fire a torpedo at us, which we only get seconds to run away from. I actually really like this as well, like vibration, man. Playing PC games for so long, so you get off of the dock before everything blows up horrifically, like that. And can you hear that? Can you hear that? That's not a vibrator. That's, oh my god, that's my controller. That's my, oh man, and I love. There's something about this game, well, a lot of old games really, where they just like vibrate the controller in just the right way when you're like, so there's certain force fields and stuff we're gonna have to break through later, and then it like thumps and pulses away like when you're stood there. It's so cool, man. So cool. And now that I've mentioned vibrator while talking about this, it just makes me want to move on with the conversation. Anyway, so we've got that key. That key will be useful for later. I did want to point that out last episode and do that, but we were kind of strapped for time. We're actually going to go back in the Stormy realm now through the regular entrance, since we've already got the obsidian, and I'll see you guys in there actually. Trying to save time because I got a quota to fill. Alright, so I guess I'm not cutting it at all, because I've talked the whole way there. But I do have, like, from my test file, I have vague ideas of where I want each episode to end. And every time so far, it's taken me, like, 10 minutes longer than I thought it would. These weren't supposed to be half-an-hour long episodes for the LP. It was supposed to be, like, 20 minutes. Do you know how long it's taken me to render lately? Oh. It's because when I was trying to, start this off and I was trying to soft mod my Xbox, it's actually a really fun process where you do something called hot swapping. A really kind of an interesting idea. But it meant at one point I was in my BIOS and I accidentally just like reset everything in a terrible way. Okay, right now it is night time, and day and night has a big impact on the way the game runs here. There are lots of different platforms. I'm so glad I managed to glitch up there. There are lots of different platforms that will either be up during the day or down during the night. And currently we're quite lucky in that these platforms here are up and it's the right time of day. And I'm terrified that they're going to go down as I'm walking across them. So I'm going to go really quickly. And we're going to just try and make it across here as soon as we can, because I don't know when day or night last changed. All of these platforms wouldn't be here if it was any other time of day. And we'd have to wait ages to start off. But this is how this zone begins. So we can jump across. Excellent. By doing this, we actually get to hit this switch, which is going to lift up these lights here. Now, the idea is that, okay, maybe it's day. Okay, it's day and these are up because it's in the middle of the day. Now, the idea here is you've got these plants, these mechanical plants, that, just like plants in real life, they only open up, and we've got an obsidian on there as well, they only open up when they have light on them. And so at night, those spotlights are going to come on, and we're gonna like have a bit of a jumping puzzle type thing to get across, but we needed to press that switch to have the lights there in the first place, if that makes any sense. This realm is basically it's the Stormy realm. You know, it's Xbox One. I saw a comment on a YouTube video where a guy was like, "Oh, how can they call this Stormy? This isn't very stormy at all. This looks so stupid." And I just thought to myself, come on, geez, we're talking about 2001 here. Like, how serious, how good of effects do you want the water to be back then? Jeez. But basically, it's stormy waters. You can swim around on the surface down below and collect like a whole bunch of stuff. But also, there's these big floating like platforms all around here, and basically, I'll do one like jaunt through them in just a second once day has changed. Again, right, once day's changed to night. So, in the meantime, we've got a bunch of overlords we can kill. Try and ball them up, line of sight them, whatever. See, if I stand here, they should all have to ball up to get close to me again. Actually, the AI seems kind of bad at the moment. Worse than I remember it for, like, actually moving around obstacles to get to me. But, yeah, this zone is a really confusing one because, particularly for me, like, you've got all this stuff you can platform on in these areas, which I will take you through, but they don't lead anywhere. They're completely inconsequential. What you're looking for are weird, obscure areas like this that are only going to react when, like, day changes to night. And if you don't have that knowledge, how are you supposed to know that? Well, I'll tell you from what this oracle says. This oracle says,
in this stormy part of the water realm, you'll find your first air power and a fragment of the Earth disk. Watch carefully as day and night interact with the world.
like, so that's the most information you get about this. Like, he doesn't tell you anything more. So you really do kind of have to guess and just hang around here for a very long period of time and just hope that you notice some marginal difference in the area. This is one of the earliest places I got stuck when I was playing this game before. Not for too long, but it's a frustrating area, especially because it's designed that it has to be day to get that original switch, and now we have to wait for at least 5 minutes for these lights to come on, and there really is nothing else to do. We can go and explore. I don't quite want to do that right now because I don't know how long till the day changes again, and we can go, and it will make sense as well because once I've pressed this second switch we have to wait a third time. There we go. So now it's day, and these have opened up because the lights are on them constantly, and this isn't too difficult to platform around. You know, they're bobbing up and down a little bit, but mostly are okay. These are going to open and close just a little. There is some weird physics that can happen if you get caught at the wrong moment. We can hit this switch though, And here's the next stupid thing about this zone, really. That's unlocked some other platforms. But from that cutscene, what would you guys guess that means? What's going to happen from that? Again, like, you just wouldn't know. But the answer is that now, when it changes again, when the day-night cycle changes to night again in a second, or day again in a second, that means in another area of the map, platforms are going to rise. Well, where is that area of the map? Maybe you can argue that the idea is that this is to encourage you to swim on the sea floor, and it's not too far away, actually. It's right there. But still, like, it's one of those things that keeps you in the zone for a particularly long period of time when I feel like you don't have to be. Now, we've got a little while before it will swap again, and we can go and travel over those lily pads and get the next thing, which is going to be our next power, by the way. Fire and air come very quickly after one another, if you know how to play the game and where to go. So I'll explain some other stuff in the meantime. We got these rocks here. These rocks are kind of cool because you can look at their colours. So there's a yellow one, and there's a red one, and then there's a blue one. Now, if you can cast yellow, red, and blue all together and then attack them, they'll pop and give you rewards. And these are going to be a staple of the game going forward. Of course, we've only got red and blue at the moment, though, so that's not going to be too helpful for us. There's a bunch of lily pads along there as well, but they're actually designed for once you've got your next power. And we're in the water realm right now, so, you know, is our next power going to be water too? I'm kind of in a weird thing with this Let's Play where I, like, don't want to reveal what the elements are. But it's not going to matter because there's only 2 more for us to get. Or whatever, we'll have our next one soon enough. Here's some yellow guys here that would drop gems for us. There's a couple of elemental dudes, which before took a real beating, but now that we've got steam, I believe, I don't know whether they're weak to steam, but they'll take more damage to it, no doubt. And we've also got a bunch of these bots as well. That's what these guys are called, just so you know, bots. Bots are really handy for getting more health. And I'm actually being surrounded and attacked a little bit more than I'd like. There's very little else for us to find or do here at the moment, guys. Above this is where we first loaded into the zone at the start of the episode. So you can bear that in mind. I will continue along because there's a multicolored orb. So the bars down below, you can replenish these bars, right? These are your elements. And this is the multicolored orb. I showed you guys one on a ledge in the Earth realm before. Well, here's one we can actually pick up.
Multicolored globes replenish all of your elements.
So there we go. So now you can see I'm fully charged again, which is always good to have. And the bots are going to kill me, very likely. I haven't died yet. There's always a point in a playthrough of a game where you realise I've not died yet, and then you get really attached to the idea of not dying, and then you do anyway. There's a very interesting idea over there, that this ocean just stops in a great chasm. I'm actually going to get back to where we need to go now, because I feel like the day-night's going to change. This ocean is, you know, it's a fantasy world, and this is what I quite enjoy about it. This ocean just stops, and it just turns into a huge waterfall, just a cut in the earth that goes down to the crust. You never see the bottom, just a bottomless pit. And on one side of this bottomless chasm, this great gorge carved into the sea, on one side is an ocean, and on the other side is I guess another ocean, but of lava instead. So you get this fantastic looking, like, area where there's 2, like, and I'll show you it. I will definitely show it. That'll be where I first die. I'm gonna kill myself deliberately in one of the coolest places possible. Yeah, that'll be brilliant. And here, as you can see, enemies haven't respawned because I haven't died or anything. I'm going to quickly save. That's a little bit of a tour of the area. There's very little else to show you. And what I'm going to do, guys, is just stand here, scratch my ass, sniff my finger, and wait until... What am I talking about? Until these platforms come up. There we go. So now these are just coming up, as you can see here. Sorry, I'm messing about the camera here. So as you can see, these just raised up. And with a little bit of platforming, we will get our 3rd power. Very quick, very kind of unexpected, actually. And in a regular playthrough, it feels like it's a lot longer between red and yellow. But I suppose, you know, if you just... I think I got quite lucky in this realm as well with the day-night cycle, which is good, because this is genuinely frustrating. So we go. Here's a yellow power. This is the air power.
Right. New power.
And now the game really opens up to us in terms of what we can do. However, we're not done with the zone. There's actually our 2nd fragment here too. We're going to press F on this switch, which is going to create more lights. And now with the air power, we can do some pretty cool stuff. By casting air on its own, we get, and this looks lame, especially in its early form. Like, as you get stronger with the elements as well, the animations get better. So there's tiny little wings here at the start and a stupid little helmet. But this is the air power, and basically we've unlocked a double jump. And maybe that sounds a bit crappy, but it's actually really handy, and it will help you out with a lot of the platform and allow you to get much further. So with the air power, I get one flap of my wings right now, and I can jump, and jump again, and continue to make it. The frustrating thing about this zone is if you don't know about the day-night cycle, you can see the air power there, and you can also see all of these lily pads that seem to like point to just platforming over there regularly, and they're really hard jumps to make without the air power, but you can do it, and you'll find yourself worming your way all the way over there, and the last jump is impossible to make, but it's just on the edge of what you think is possible. So you can spend hours and hours, waste hours and hours of your life, I should say, in this area of this map, thinking that this is what you're meant to do, and it's totally not. Again, another frustrating thing. And as you can see as well, at the rate that my air's depleting, you can get quite a lot of platforming before, you know, you run out of the element required. And this is basically a way to skip along underneath all those bridges above that you saw me travel across earlier. Now I'm going to save the game here, and we have to wait for it to be night again for our final upgrade. Did I miss the obsidian under the air platform? I believe I did. I'm going to cut it until I get back to the air area, guys, where we found the air power up, because I think there's an obsidian under that thing that I just completely missed a second ago. Yeah, and the obsidians, you know, there's one very difficult obsidian to find in this map, but otherwise the rest are okay. Now, here's one thing I do think that the game might be missing. I talked very briefly about this idea of a map. I really like the idea of drawing my own maps, or like if you're playing through this game and you're getting lost and stuff. Like, what a cool idea, drawing your own maps of Perathia. And there's like a cool looking-ish map sort of in the manual. Oh, what a fantastic notion, drawing your own maps. I like that idea. But one other thing is, like, when we get to a zone, like, we're currently in the Stormy water realm, which is what sort of, I guess, just a fan name for this area. There should be, like, if I press back, I should be able to find, you know, location information. And it says, oh, you've got 5 out of the 6 obsidians in this area. You've got the power in this area. You've got 2 of the fragments in this area. That is sorely needed in this game, and it's just completely missing. And I think, you know, if this was something to be, because I really like the concept, but if this were to be made in 2013 or whatever, this is the kind of stuff that people would be looking for, and you can realistically say, no, this is why this was a bad game. Anyway, since we've just saved it and we're waiting for day and night, do you want to go down here now? If you get too close, even remotely too close, you're going to get sucked away by the current. You can see I'm already getting sucked away, and there is a point of no return, much like a black hole, where you can't get away. And down we go. Look at this! And you see all those platforms and stuff there out in the lava? Oh, guys, that is like real terrain. That's like the greatest thing about this.
Press the A button to continue your quest.
So that's the game over screen, and it will just take you very unceremoniously. I love that word lately. It will just take you back to the last save point you had. But yeah, that's all traversable terrain. I'm going to do it again, right, just to show you the pipe. And look, there's a pipe that connects the two of them. Fantastic. Ages later in this Let's Play, you'll see me on the side of that area from the fire realm. Like, oh, it's just so good. And there's like zip lines that take you back and forth. Oh my god, what a phenomenal idea. Right, and also, because we just saw that pipe, and because it's still, I don't know whether the day-night thing is resetting because I'm dying. But there's also a pipe down here. Do you remember how I said you can complete everything in this zone except for one small thing? Well, you can swim into this pipe. This is that one small thing. You can swim into this pipe, and it will take you through this tube that we just saw the outside of, which I just think looks utterly fantastic. And you can actually ascend in here, and the architecture gets very different here. You can be on a ladder underwater, which is a bizarre concept. Well, I guess it's not that bizarre if you're like a deep-sea diver and you're like in... what are those called? What are deep-sea diving suits called? They've got a proper name. I watched Men of Honor recently. But basically, we can't go too far because there's another weird rock, again, obscuring our platform. It's only a level 1 thing, so perhaps we're not too far away from being able to get it. But unfortunately, we are right now. That is acid, just so that you know. I'll stop being so weird about what everything's called. And yeah, that's basically it. I just wanted to show you off. Again, this is one of those things, like, you read a guide and they'll just say, don't go in the pipe, there's no point. I think there is a point. I think it's nice to go and see that stuff. And then, you know, later on we'll recognise when we get there. And I think that's part of the fun. Anyway, so now we are in the general area that we need to be. Hopefully the day has swapped. And there is our fragment. So close yet so far. You can see that there's all these pods. Yeah, okay, right. It's definitely the right time of day now. Now I'm concerned because we might miss the boat. And why would I think that when you get so much time? Because actually on this bit of platforming, you're forced... First of all, these guys are damn annoying. With this bit of platforming, you're sort of forced to wait. Oh, there's so many enemies. I don't want to be fighting you. Go away. They all take so long to kill. I must have already done one combo on one of them. I don't want to miss my train and you're making me late. There we go. Right, they're all dead. Okay. Right, so we'll get our wings. Still got steam, why not? So these will only open up... That bot isn't coming for me, is it? No, good. These will only open up when the light shines on them, and it's designed in such a way that when it opens, you've got to be quick, and you just sort of got to make it through as best you can. So here we go. One. If you're too slow, it will close on you again, so you have to keep the pace up. And like, you might think it's kind of difficult, but it's one of those fun little things, like, I don't know, just you Y, you land... Left trigger, Y again to trigger the new power, jump, like, it's just, I don't know, it's one of those things, like, you know how some games, like, they give you a load of combos and then it gets really fast-paced and you find out, like, you realise, like, that your fingers are just flying all over the controller in, like, a really cool way. This is like, so minor, okay, but this is sort of what it reminds me of here. But there we go, we had plenty of time, as it turned out. Jump across. That, my friends, is a fragment of the Earth disk, which just bugged out a little bit. There we go. Another disc fragment. He is saying that. It's just very quiet. Let's check it out. So now we've got one fragment of the water disc, one fragment of the earth disc. Awesome sauceum. There's not really anything else for me to show you in this entire zone, guys. We have completed the Stormy water zone. I'm not done with the video yet, though. It might feel to you like I didn't explore much on the actual upstairs areas, but there isn't really anything. It's just the walkways that I showed you. I went through it once. That's pretty much everything there is to see. There's a couple of those rocks which we can now break. Because remember, it was water, air, and fire all together, and then we could break them. And I'll demonstrate that soon enough, but for now, we're going to make some more progress and return back to the area I started this video at, or almost started this video at, and we're going to deal with that torpedo thing. Those two overlords that fired a torpedo at us. Let's say we deal with them. So we've come back here just above the gorge. That gorge, that's the water seal down there, the save point, if you remember right at the end of the last episode. Where we're going to ignore this gorge and swim further forward. Now, you have to be careful out here in the large ocean area because, as I say, of that giant whirlpool, which again can suck you in and kill you, just like the big waterfall we were at earlier. But over here, there's another gorge, and we can descend down. I feel like I descend faster in this game if I'm not moving, but I think... I just can't quite tell if you descend slower if you're swimming in a direction at the same time. But here, this is where these guys shot us from. So how do we get in there and deal with it? This, by the way, is what I always wanted, like, Asuran labs and stuff underwater in Guild Wars 2 to be like. But the closest we get is, like, the Inquest base in the Cursed Shore, which sucks. So we'll go... There's a hole over here. This is the way we get in. Sorry, I didn't quite forget that there. There's these barnacles as well. I haven't actually been attacked by a barnacle yet, have I? I think this is the first thing I ever did in Azurik. Walk near a barnacle and get attacked by it. Yeah. You can't actually... There is no underwater combat in this game. You can, like, pop your abilities for a little while, but the Axiom doesn't do too well under there. So there's very little you can do. So if you're ever in trouble underwater, you can only swim. But there's actually an area we can surface. A tiny little air pocket. Now, the reason why I didn't do this earlier is because, again, we got another one of these lightning things. Do you remember when we were in the Earth realm when I pointed this out? And I said that I would mention it again in a later episode. Well, that time is now. Before we had 3 lightning strikes. That means we couldn't get through there. But here there's only 1 lightning strike. And now that we've got air on its own gives us wings. Red Bull. Air and fire together. However, what do you think? Like, the idea of just air. What kind of stuff is the element of air associated with? Well, lightning, right? Well, air and fire, one of the, the more damaging elements. Air and fire together gives us a lightning shield, because again, both of those elements, like, by default give you shield stuff, so that's how I kind of worked that out. And we actually managed to pass inside their base, which is pretty cool. So a lightning shield allows us to pass through there, but we'll need lightning 3 to get through the one in the Earth realm. Now we also got that key from the Overlord, so we can plug the key in, which will open up these stairs further in. That's what the sound effects in here sound like to me. We can come up the stairs. Grab a bunch of rubies. Ruby, 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 ruby! Ah. I might do that quite a few times as I'm playing, fair warning. So we got a couple of rubies in here, and we can come even higher. Let's conjure some steam on our weapon. And kick the Overlord's asses. Hello! And they stack together just like that, making them nice and easy to kill. Like so. And we get another little pop-up.
Move to the periscope and press the X button to activate it.
Like, this is so weird. It's like the move to the vines and climb them. Like, what? How did they decide where these little messages would come from? Because they're so few and far between. Like, anyone would have figured out to activate this at this point. Anyway, I mentioned that this game could get, like, first-person shooter sections.
Use the left thumbstick to aim the periscope. Press the X button to fire the torpedo.
It sort of does. We can zoom in. We can zoom out, and you hear that beep noise? It's like a metal detector. We want to, you know, find out where it's beeping the loudest to figure out what to do. That's the whirlpool over there, which I will give you guys a tour of later. Don't worry. We've got a little platform there. It's getting louder, getting louder. Oh, it's getting quieter, it's getting quieter. Oh, the tower. What about the tower? We can zoom nice and close into it. Beeping furiously. Let's fire away. I thought it was the A button for a second, not the X button. So I swallow my words. The Oracle did help me out there. I keep forgetting the Oracle's name because he's an actual character in the story. More crazy controller vibrations, and voila. We get to destroy that tower. Now who remembers what was over there? Nobody? Nobody remembers what was over there? No, over there was the dark cave that we found earlier, and now that that thing's like been destroyed, we have another potential entryway to it. So we're gonna surface here as quickly as possible, and I'll actually use this opportunity to go to the floating, like, basically they're little rafts, so you can see that there's one raft there, maybe you can see it. There's little rafts out in the water here. One of them's got a save point on it, and the other one is that second silver teleporter that I mentioned last episode, towards the end of the last episode. So that's where these things are actually located, so we'll just quickly climb up here. Hit the save point, I'm fine with that. Second silver teleporter, which I guess is useful. This will be useful for us quite a few times. I guess next where it will be useful when we're going to the glacial zone. But in fact, don't be expecting that anytime soon. Even though now we've got 3 powers. You'd think that we'd maybe be able to make progress in a zone that's been accessible to us for such a long time. But still, we're not going to go there. After we've done this little bit in the cave, the next episode will be featuring an entirely new realm that we've not been to yet. Right now we've only been to 2. Mostly it's been water zone, right? It's just been water realm, water realm, water realm. We were very briefly in the earth realm. I was actually going to start this video by like summing up everything we've done so far, but hey, I forgot. Well, we'll probably do it next time. We've been in the earth realm for a brief period of time, but mostly it's been water. But we're going to go somewhere completely new next time. A place that can be quite frustrating too if you don't know where you're going. You know, it probably goes without saying. Anyway, now this has been destroyed, we can climb in through here. Very cool little area. And we're in the dark cave. The water's long below us. Using our newly found fire elements, we can light the way. It's actually quite easy. I remember having immense difficulty here when I first played the game. I'm not sure why. Maybe it just wasn't used to the camera controls, which are all inverted, by the way. That's one of the reasons why people don't like the camera controls in this game, because they're inverted. Another obsidian here. That's 22. That I'm almost 100% sure that means I've got every single one available so far from the stuff that we've done. I mean, we could go and grab obsidians in the glacial area, or we could have gone on that lift in the earth realm. You know, there's places we could be going. But anyway, we're going to come through here. It's going to take us into a totally different zone, and this is where I'm going to end the episode. Oh look, it's the second shard of the water fragment, and it's that one by the town. There you go. Crazy stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'll see you guys at town next time. There'll be more story stuff to do in town as well. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you're enjoying Azurik. Do let me know what you're thinking, and I will catch you tomorrow, I guess. I'm finally going to stop playing today. I'm finally going to stop playing. See you next time, everyone.